I had the great honor of introducing our second panel, and it is called Intersection of Sex, Race, Gender, and Juvenile Justice, which is the biggest misnomer ever, because for LGBTQ kids, there's not much justice whatsoever. And so what we're going to try to do through this panel is really talk about, from our experiences, what were the mistakes we made, and what are the victories that we've had, and then try to piece together how we can move on to be more successful. And I was thinking about this in terms of last night, because last night we were celebrating collaboration and how when you work in a group and you build community, and it's so wonderful. But when you go to the next stage, which is to take that group working together and to try to enact legislation, you then have some winners and losers. And what I've done throughout my history is work a lot with children and families. And I'm always amazed, like we have a big coalition, and then I can get the health care for the child, but I can't get it for their mothers. Well, how do you keep families healthy if the children can get the health care, but the mothers can't? And this was many years ago, but I remember when we first started with civil rights for LGBT, and that's what it was called at that time, and the legislator said to me, Susan, we'll go for LBG, but we're not going for T. And, so how do we create these coalitions and then move them forward? And then when it comes to this point of the law, of litigation, how do we keep those things together? And I think that through stories and through various people's experiences, we're going to explore that throughout the day. I have the most distinguished panel in the world, as we all do today. I am not going to give you their spiel, it's written out. First is going to be Shannon Minter. He's the legal director of the National Center for Lesbian Rights. He was counsel for same-sex couple in the landmark California marriage case. He's one of California's best and brightest, okay? Stacy Long is the Director of Public Policy and Government Affairs at the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force, and she's pursued policy and legislative wins, including healthcare, employment, marriage equity, and anti-violence. Catherine Bond Stockton is the Distinguished Professor of English at the University of Utah. She teaches queer theory, theories of race, 19th century novel, and 20th century literature and film. And she's written Beautiful Bottom, Beautiful Shame. And finally, Aaron Murky, who was my student. And he is head of Free State Legal Services, which is in Baltimore, a newly established group to provide free legal services to poor LGBT population. And he is really where the rubber meets the road. And he's going to tell us about some of the wonderful things they've been doing. Okay, Shannon.